Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lyds, and we're back for some more Thronebreaker, and last time we may have done one more thing that will potentially make Bruver quite mad at us, as we did track down the Nilfgaardians who were trying to, steal some supplies, and, or use some supplies to murder Lyrians and Rivians, and technically, supposedly, Mahakam is neutral ground, and so any fighting between the Nilfgaardians and the Lyrians and Rivians is not something that Bruver wants to have happening here. On the other hand, did they not? I'm pretty sure we learned that they purchased those weapons from the dwarves, which is not neutral. So, hold on there, Bruver. You can't have it both ways. You can't sell supplies to one of the parties who is waging war and then claim neutrality. So, if we're nitpicking there, I'm not exactly sure that Bruver has much ground to stand on there. But, anyways, as for what we have planned, I think we were looking at a couple of things here in particular. Those being this puzzle over here, and also this battle down there. I think we were minding our morale in trying to figure out when would be the right time to do encounters, because our deck still remains quite weak at this stage, I think. Though the high morale is, of course, a little bit of a boost. So it is nice to have that, but then again, we have a shrine here, we have a shrine here, we have a bunch of shrines that we still have yet to use, one over there as well, so, I mean, it'd be nice to have a bunch waiting in the wings that we can click on whenever needed, but, not necessary, at least not as of just yet. I think what we were planning to do was go for the puzzle up here first, because we might get a new, card out of this, which could make the subsequent battle easier. Okay. So, are we just looting a rock? A monument? What is this? Letter found. Remember, lads and lassies, wash your beard with an herbal rinse before and after every shift. If you pass a snail en route to the mine, share a wee bite with him. If a hare, dove, or thrush crosses your path, stop where ye are, and never ever whistle in the mine. Hoo hoo ha. These dwarves, man, they are really big on this whole do not whisper in a mine whatever you do thing. I still don't really know why that is, but oh well. We'll proceed here as the puzzle in question was supposedly in this direction. Also, oh. Well, that appears to be it. Some kind of monster. But before we do that, we can get a little more goods here. Part of the reason why we wanted to go to the puzzle before we went to the battle was because we get a, I would assume, custom deck here. And so it's a way to sort of skirt around the fact that our own deck is rather weak at the moment. I think this is the one in question. There's not anything else over here. Yeah, so I think it's this. And then if we zoom through this, we'll perhaps head over there before we go to the big main quest update over there. Okay, so let's see. What do we have here? It looked like some kind of, like, ghost, wraith, banshee. Specters of the past. I mean, I know what card this is in Gwent multiplayer. This is the Beast, but that's a reference to The Witcher 1. Let's see. While the human kingdoms are mere hundreds of years old, the chronicles of Mahakam stretch back millennia. Over its long history, the mountainous region has been home to many great discoveries, heroic deeds, and terrible crimes. The dwarves, however, preferred to keep silent about past conflicts, instead emphasizing brotherhood above all else. Yet, the stain of shed blood on alabaster stone is difficult to truly forgive and forget. And its continued memory attracts beasts that thrive on injustice and suffering. Kill the beast, it is the beast! The beast from The Witcher 1, maybe, kinda, sorta, a little bit. So special rules. Just need to kill this thing. Shortened battle, just one round, and we will get a custom deck, so that's nice. That's probably all the things we're looking for here. But as for the specifics, let's take a look. So they've already passed. They aren't going to play any additional cards, but they're probably still going to do some stuff here. With the Beast, this is the thing we need to destroy every turn on turn start. Spawn 4 Barghests with 4 power. If there is a Barghest on the battlefield, gain immune. Oh, that's nasty. So we can't target it right now because it has immunity. And that means we need to destroy all the Barghest quickly. And then, once there are no longer any Barghest, it loses the immunity, but it will spawn in more. So there's very little time to do our thing. Okay, we have some cards here that we haven't seen before. Let's take a look. Alchemist, set a unit's power equal to the unit on its left. I assume this is it is not considered a boss? Oh. Okay. That's very surprising. Despite it being legendary rarity. So, despite us having restraint on the Alchemist, it looks like we might actually be able to use this on the Beast. Then again, I guess there's never going to be a unit to the left of it, because whenever units get spawned, they always get spawned further to the right. So unless we somehow have a way of moving cards around, then that's unlikely to happen, and we can't target the Beast right now anyway when it has immune, so yeah, it's probably still going to end up being used on Barghest. Okay, but that's the Alchemist. We've seen that before. We have 2 of those, okay? Epidemic, destroy the lowest units, plural. Okay, well, no, don't play it yet, although it does look tempting, because that would destroy all these guys, and perhaps give us the opening we're looking for to go after the Beast on the next turn. Okay. Rivia and Sapper, I was thinking, given how destroying all the Barghest is not going to damage the Beast, it just allows us to hit the Beast on the next turn, but then we're stuck in a similar situation where, sure, that time the Beast spawns in more Barghest, but although we might want to get rid of those Barghests, we probably want to target the Beast when it has 1 turn without immunity, so that means we're going to, at some point, need to chain together, damaging both the Barghests and the Beast. So I think what's probably going to happen is we're going to remove all the Barghests first. Then on the next turn, the Beast will spawn in more Barghests, but that time we can destroy the Barghest and damage the Beast on the same turn, because in that instance, the Beast will not have immune. So that's a little bit of progress there. Still not sure how the Alchemist fit into this equation, but maybe the Rivia and Onager would help explain that. Zeal, order, damage an enemy by 3. Charges 2. If an ally is destroyed, gain 1 charge. I'm not sure we're going to have any allies getting destroyed. Oh, yes we will. Epidemic destroys both our own units and the enemies. Or at least could. If we did it right now, obviously, it would just remove these guys. But if we did it when we had an Alchemist on the board, then it would destroy those. Oh, however, that's not going to be a factor for the Rivia and Onager, because if we have this and an Alchemist on the board at the same time and we play Epidemic, we're going to destroy the Onager, not any of the Barghests, and that's no good. So this is the setup for the Alchemist. I think it's what we anticipated, right? It's Epidemic, destroys all these guys. Next, end turn. Next turn, Beast spawns in more Barghests. Use Rivia and Sapper to destroy all the Barghests and damage the Beast in the same turn. Then, same thing. Then, Onager to set up Alchemist, but then I'm not sure how we're destroying the things that we're weakening with the Onager. Slash Alchemist. Let's try it out. We'll see what happens here. So we do this, it destroys all them. That's what I was saying would be the first move. It spawns in more, Hold on. I thought it was going to spawn the Barghests, and because the Barghests did not exist at the beginning of their turn, it would not have immunity. So I was expecting this turn would be Sapper into destroy, damage. But that is not the case, and we'd just be whittling away at the Beast a bit there. But okay, well, we've already messed up in that case, and we've likely failed. Like, is there anything else we can learn here? Oh, technically, no. No, Onager before Epidemic does work. Because if you use an Onager to immediately damage Barghests, then you can lower them down to 1 power. They're the lowest enemy, so Epidemic does still hit them. Okay, so I think that's actually the first turn. It's Onager, weaken all of them. still not 100% sure how it's all going to play out, but I think we just accept the fact that we've already messed up here. Let's try the scan. That much became pretty clear right off the bat. So I think we at least try Onager first. And what we do is we're going to want to hit the enemy. We set unit equal to the unit on its left. We're going to want you to be weak. And you potentially as well. So that we can make you guys weak. The Alchemist. Still not seeing the full picture here. So we can do that. And if we end our turn here, then the beast is not going to spawn. But will still spawn Vargas. I'm overthinking this. Okay, it spawns in the other row. Also wasn't sure if they're going to continue to spawn in this row and eventually the row would get full and they wouldn't be able to do any more. So that was another question I was thinking to myself. Okay, what I want to see is just if we do use the Rivia and Sapper.
Don't you worry yourself.
Continuing to test here.
We'll get a no, Jerry.
If we do this and destroy all the Vargas in one turn, does the beast lose its immunity as soon as the last Vargas gets destroyed? Can we hit you now? No, we cannot. Okay. Oh, we're actually forced to even destroy our own Onager. Okay, well, obviously we wouldn't do it in this order then. But, huh. Okay, this is weirder than I gave it credit for. Just not seeing it at the moment. Just not seeing it at the moment. Obviously, we messed that up, but... Okay, we're learning at least some things that we definitely can't do. We learned that we... Wait, what? Hold on, what the heck? Why did the beast suddenly spawn on this side? Now we can do it in, like, one turn? Possibly? Wait. Hold on. What the heck? So how the heck do we get rid of its immunity, first of all? Because, or maybe, no, maybe what it is that we just have to lower it down so that it is the lowest powered unit, and then destroy it with an epidemic? Because this does not require that we actually target it directly. But now that you do have other units on the left of you, it means if we could ever somehow get rid of your immune, which still I'm not clear on how we would make that happen because all the ways that I thought we'd make that happen have proven to not work. If we could get rid of the immune, we could set you to 4 power, and then pretty easy to get rid of the Vargas, and so, or I mean at that point you're all 4 power, use an epidemic. We destroy the beast along with all the Vargas on the same turn. So, how do we make that happen though? It's like this. We can't target you. Set unit's power equal to the unit on the left. We would need... Oh, wait. Hold on. Now I feel like I'm really overthinking this and going galaxy brain when that is not what should be done. But what if we actually, rather than trying to destroy these 4 power units, or more accurately, or more reflective of what I was trying to do, rather than trying to reduce the beast down to 4 power and destroy it along with all the Vargas when we use an epidemic, or by getting rid of its immune and destroying it with a Rivia and Sapper or a Rivia and Onager, what if we made it so that all of the Vargas were on 15 power? So then the beast is tied for the lowest unit. It's just that every unit is a 15. and that means that Epidemic does still get rid of it without targeting it. That feels like that's probably impossible, because the Alchemist, when the beast is not all the way to the right, could make Barghest up to 15 power, but it would take us too many turns to do that, because we can change the power of one Barghest per turn, but they're going to spawn in 4 more Barghests every turn, and so for constantly trying to get every single Barghest up to 15 power, then that's just not going to happen. I was thinking, like, maybe get one right next to the beast that on 15, tied with it, and then you use Sapper to destroy all the remaining Barghests, but even then, you're not keeping pace with the Barghest spawning in every turn. So, I'm sure there's it feels like there's a really simple solution that I'm just, for whatever reason, totally not seeing. And that is frustrating, because I feel like it's obvious. But maybe we're in the right initially. I feel like this is also a rare opportunity where the beast is on the rightmost side, which may suddenly make this much easier, may suddenly make this much harder. I'm not entirely sure. I am surprised, though, that it is even possible for this to happen. So... oh, how I wish. This would be so much simpler if you didn't have immunity. Okay, well, pretty much no matter what, we're going to ruin this opportunity of getting rid of all the Barghests, because the only way this could work with the beast all the way to the right would be if we could target it with the Alchemist, which we definitely cannot do. We definitely cannot do that. It won't let me target it because it has immunity. So, it needs to be some kind of removal, right? So... what did we found the Rivian Onager didn't work very well because the Rivian Sapper was going to need to destroy it at some point in time, which was not ideal. I mean, we just try this one more time. All the Barghests are gone. Now your immunity does go away. And we should be allowed to hit you, because we did get the death blow. So by all accounts, we should be allowed to hit you once. That's weird. You're going to get immunity back because there are more of the Barghests here. Once again, they spawn to that side. That is odd. I don't get it. I don't get it. And I'm really mad at myself because I feel like I should get it. But now I've put myself in a trap where it's now there's no way I can get it because I've convinced myself that I don't know, no matter what I do. So now, I mean, this is like objectively going to be wrong because now this bricks Epidemic, but I don't. Yeah.
If anyone asks, you've not seen.
We're not gonna do this one. We're gonna go back on a later occasion, and by that I mean don't restart, because I don't believe in myself anymore. I have completely psyched myself out of this puzzle. And we will try it on a later occasion when Lids has not totally gotten in his own head. But hey, that's what having one other encounter is for. I hope we're still technically in High Morale. Yes? Okay. So the hope was to do that one first in case it was going to give us a new card that might help us in this battle. But it maybe our deck, weak as it is somehow still powerful enough to complete this battle, because we are likely still using our starting deck for this one. I don't know why we wouldn't be. But we have the morale. Oh, and it was a dragon. I remember we poked our head down here. Or Draconid, perhaps more likely. Okay. Anything else we should know of in this area? Potentially a little bit in this corner over here. Looks like that might be a place with a golden hidden chest or something like that. Let's hop in. I just need to rid myself of the thoughts of that puzzle. This is Death from Above. The dwarves of Mahakam oft keep their eyes trained skyward for 2 reasons. First, to watch for avalanches. Second, to ensure no hungry forktails or slizzards are swooping down for a quick bite. It's a standard battle, so just looking to win in best 2 out of 3 here, and we don't get these very often. But before we start picking our cards, let's see what we have here. So, looks like no leader ability, but there is what I imagine is probably a boss. No, it's not technically a boss. Permanent resilience, though, it will carry over from one round to the next, and even into round 3, whereas resilience only usually carries from 1 round into the next. On round start, spawn a Harpy Egg on each side of this unit. For 4 turns, on turn start, consume the lowest units on the battlefield. Okay, so I'm not sure if we've seen a Harpy Egg in Thronebreaker. We probably have. But usually in multiplayer, at least, when a card like this references another card, it will at least show you a little preview of that. I guess not all the time. But at least for multiplayer Gwents, Harpy Eggs are Death Wish units, meaning that they trigger something when they get destroyed. And in multiplayer Gwent, they spawn in Harpy. So we've definitely seen this in Thronebreaker a little while ago. It's been a while. But so what that means is it's hard. Because you don't want to destroy the Death Wish units, because then you're triggering their Death Wish. But if we don't destroy them, then this greedy Forktail is going to consume them, and they're still going to trigger the Death Wish, and they're going to absorb the power from them, and just allocate them into the Forktail. So it's going to be a tricky one. It means we definitely want to try to take this guy out, and you know what? At 10 power and 4 armor, and apparently without being a boss, we may be able to make that happen. So I'm thinking of something like Alistair's Thunder is 10 damage, and then throw in our leader ability, and that is already enough. So that's an encouraging sign, I would have to think. And since this is a potentially 3-round match, Skull is, one would think, considerably better than it would otherwise be. Savior remains one of the reasons why our deck is significantly worse than it once was, because he really doesn't have much of a purpose anymore, so we're probably dumping him. And, well, same with Reynard. Okay. Bomber is, nice to have, for sure. Double Alchemist makes me a little nervous. Again, because this Forktail apparently is not something that counts as a boss. We may be able to set its power based on something much weaker than it. But still. Ooh, Barnabas. Okay, that's a little more interesting. Still love this animation on this card so much. Okay, I think we might stick with this and keep our redraws for the other rounds at this point. There are the Harpy Eggs. So, the random damage could hit you, and in fact, Alistair's Thunder will hit you as well. So here's the Harpy. It's 4 power. On turn to end, spawn a Harpy Egg. Yeah, so it's never-ending Harpy Eggs. I remember now. I remember it gave us a bit of trouble on a previous occasion. So the trouble is, if we use Alistair's Thunder, we are guaranteeing that we destroy these Harpy Eggs. We could move them away from the greedy Forktail with the Stray Slinger, but if we do that, then we have enough damage to destroy them, so that's not really solving the problem. Scepter of Storm's gonna hit the lowest enemy, which right now would be the Harpy Eggs. Leader ability can target you, but we're gonna get random damage from these guys, which could very well hit a Harpy Egg. So it's not ideal. But I think we probably still do get rid of this Forktail. I think we still do. And then if we do that, wait, how big are the Harpies? Harpies are 4? Okay, here's what we do. Ready? We go Alistair's Thunder. Oh, except it's not quite enough. Hey, it's almost perfect, but not quite. I think we do it anyway. Wait, it is perfect. Hold on. Everything is fine. Don't worry. Everything is fine. Don't worry. Because that's what I wanted to do. I realized that with the armor, that I thought that we were going to be able to just destroy the Forktail with the Alistair's Thunder by itself, or Alistair's Thunder plus these guys, but when I saw that there was still going to be a 4-power Forktail remaining, I was like, okay, now maybe that's going to mess up using our leader ability to finish off the Harpies before they can start spawning in additional Harpy Eggs and getting that chain started. But since they all line up perfectly on 4 power, chef's kiss. Oh, I vaguely remember this Biting Frost being quite a nuisance when we saw it before. Every turn on turn start, damage the lowest unit on this row by 2 on both rows. Yeah. That does stink. And right now, with nothing on our opponent's side of the board to go after, I mean, we could set a row on fire, but we're guessing which row they're going to start playing stuff in. Not much to do for Isbell. I mean, yes, some of our cards will continue to get damaged here for a little bit. Don't have anything for the cavalry to do. Don't have anything for the slinger to do. Barnabas, no idea. I mean, maybe we use him and we see what we get, because we might get something that boosts us, which is probably the best option for us at the moment, because otherwise, I mean, anything damage-wise is pretty useless. Besides kind of setting a row on fire. And we don't want to pass at this point, because we still have 9 cards in our hand, so we'd be overdrawing cards going to round 2. So that's kind of a waste. I think it is probably Barnabas, and we're just waiting. We're just waiting.
Not supposed to be any smoke.
Just waiting to get some units on the opponent's side of the board to go after. So we could replay Barnabas and try again. I'm not sure that makes a huge difference. Mandrake honestly may not be bad. I'm not sure we've seen Cadaverin before, but this is a solid card in multiplayer Gwent. Damage 3 units by 3. If already damaged, destroy them instead. Whoa! We haven't added this to our deck yet, but that does sound like that can be really useful. The 3 damage to 3 units is not all that much. I mean, it's 9 total, which is close to what we see from the trinkets, but damaging units that are already destroyed potentially 3 times is absolutely amazing. Sure, you can't use it on bosses, but still. I think we still go for Mandrake, though, again, because we don't have anything to target here. This is basically an edit undo button, and this could actually give us positive value. Okay, so still nothing for the cavalry to go after here, but I think we're going to try to row stack a bit in this row here, because I want... Do we really need to mark our own unit? Are you serious? Well, this Arbalest is going to get destroyed in the melee row anyway, so we might as well do that. The Slizzard, every turn start, increase the counter by 1 and damage a random enemy by 2. Oh, this is a pretty powerful card if I remember correctly. Again, one that we have seen enemies use sometimes. Okay. Okay. So yeah, we're trying to row stack in this row, because if we have units in both rows, that means we're taking 2 damage in both rows, or 4 damage total every turn, whereas if everything is in the same row, we're only taking, well, we're taking half that damage. So we're accepting that this will die. And I think we did truly end up using the cavalry did actually damage, because we had, what, 3 power on that guy? So 2 damage from the Biting Frost and 1 damage from the Strays Cavalry. Because this says mark a unit, not an enemy unit, a unit. So yes, we were quite literally forced to target our own unit, and it did, in truth, deal damage to it. Fortunately, it switched over to the Harpy Egg here, though. We don't really want to destroy that. Technically, this Harpy has already done its thing, so it's not a huge problem anymore. If we were to use Scepter of Storms, it would have enough damage to destroy this Harpy Egg, and then the Harpy would spawn in after that. And it would be on 4 power. We technically have just enough damage to still destroy that too, as long as the order of operations is such that Scepter of Storms acknowledges or waits for this Harpy to spawn in and doesn't immediately jump over to this Harpy as soon as this gets destroyed. It's also kind of weird that this is a 4 power Harpy and this is a 7 power Harpy, but I digress. So, other than that, I mean, that's not even a card that we're talking about playing here. We need to play something in addition to that. In which case, would go after you? Maybe with Strays Cavalry, I suppose.
The chase is on!
Then we do this. No, see, this is what I didn't want to happen. I wanted you to go after this. Not this. This. But I didn't remember if you were going to go after this. And you didn't, and that's a problem. What? We haven't seen that one before. That's another Forktail. Oh, it's a different type of Forktail, though. Okay, this is interesting. That was a very big unit. We had the lead until they did that. Consume 3 of the lowest allies, and in doing so, set up some more Harpy Eggs. So these harpies have already done their thing. Those harpy eggs have not. You're not going to consume any more, but there might be additional forktails that they are going to end up playing. And for what it's worth, that's reasonably valuable. The Alchemist on these guys here, lowering you down to a 7. Once again, Scepter Storm's going to go after Harpy Egg, and we've now learned that this is not capable of switching over to the Harpy once it destroys an egg, so that's not good. It's pretty much unusable. So we've learned that much. But at this point, seeing how much, if any, setup we have per skull at this point, and the answer is not much. So I think... I'm wondering if... Slinger, we can't really use on you guys, because it destroys you and triggers the Death Wish. But if we move you guys... A bunch of 2s here. You'd still be next to a 7. And technically we're reducing the value of the Alchemist, because we were already going to lower you down to a 7 if we were going to use the Alchemist on you. So... And Stray's Bomber setting a row on fire. Again, we don't want to destroy the Harpy Eggs. That's also kind of counterproductive. Even Skull damaging a Death Wish unit is not something we really want to do. So it's an awkward one for sure. Just not a great answer. Unless we just accept that we're going to deal damage to the Forktail and not go for the Alchemist in this round and save this for a later occasion. Or a subsequent Death Wish unit, or rather a subsequent Consume unit that it might play. It's possible. Or we roll the dice and see what the heck happens with the Bone Talisman. I guess we go Cavalry and double down on the mark on you and accept that this is not an Alchemist round. This was... We stole one, but it's kind of nasty. Every turn, on turn start, increase counter by 1, damage random enemy by 2. Yeah, so I think we found we basically needed to destroy this thing immediately. Otherwise, it's going to get way stronger. I think that's what we found was the recipe for success. But that is still easier said than done. A lot easier said than done. So we can... Doing it this turn is just about impossible, I think. But if we were to move you with a Stray Slinger and keep you next to this Harpy, then that might be a possibility. That'd mean moving you, and then whatever we're moving in that last spot is not ideal. We might be triggering a Death Wish that we really don't want to trigger, or we're moving this Harpy and that's just not really achieving anything. We move this Harpy and we're still not really achieving anything. Not loving it. Not loving it. I mean, you could maybe make the case for just moving the units that we actually do want to damage all into the same row, and that opens up the possibility of a skull, but that's something we really want to save for round 2 or 3, where it's just going to naturally be much more effective because we have a whole bunch more units that will end up in our graveyard to power it up. No me gusta. We could Alchemist to make the Harpy Eggs bigger so that we don't accidentally destroy them? No. It's a possibility, but no. What's the difference here? It's not much. It's not much. It is Stray Slinger. And it's just kind of a painful
The
one.
white of an eye from half a league away.
Because is the objective just to deal damage with the Slinger? Or is it to set up a subsequent Alchemist or Bomber? Because the way we approach this is different, depending on which direction we want to go. Get leader ability back next turn. We can line up things on the same amount of power, that'd be nice. That's also not feasible. Unless we deliberately were to destroy these guys and then use leader ability on that same turn, in which case maybe Straight Slinger and then leader ability would make sense, and go after the 4s. I still hate it, but tell you what, I think that means you set this row on fire. So I actually don't want you to hit this turn. I'd like you to stay on 4 power. What did you consume? The Bone Talisman? I think we'll live with that. Lacerate. Same thing as in multiplayer Gwent, but just significantly stronger. Okay. And at this point, now because we do have leader ability, we could move you and you. Ooh. You can get a bunch of people on 4. Wait. Move you, move you, move you. Yes, I know that triggers the Death Wishes, but it spawns 4 power Harpies, so we can immediately destroy their leader ability. In addition to destroying you, once you get moved and damaged. That was the intention, was to set that up. So I think we do follow through with that. Triggers the Death Wishes, spawns you guys in, but before you can do anything, we do this. It did destroy one of the Slizzards, and so it's going to deal damage to us, but we established a lead after having done that, and we still have a Scepter of Storms, which is now finally safe to play, because we can damage this Harpy rather than Harpy eggs this time around, so I do like that as well. And I think that means that is probably what we're doing here, and then this is likely to be the last thing we do in this round. Okay, they did not catch us. So, at the very least, if they want to do so, they will need to play one more card. They may be able to catch us if they play one more. The thing is that this Slizzard is now the lowest card on our side of the board, which means it will be the thing that starts getting damaged by Biting Frost. And so, that means in 3 turns? In 3 turns, it would get destroyed. At which point, it would be what? I mean, if it were to happen right now, it'd be 18 damage, but in 3 turns, it'd be 9 times 3, 27 damage. So definitely win at that point. Is that reason enough to play a little bit further? I think we really want to save this Alchemist. Probably want to save Isabel, although that is, I mean, that's really valuable, but yes, we'd like to save her, especially because if we were to play her, she would become the lowest unit, and then she would be the one who gets damaged, not you. And Skull, at this point, has now gotten a fair bit more setup. But once again, the longer we wait, the stronger it becomes. So I think this is the right time to pass. And if for some reason they just keep on trying to catch us, then... Ooh, excuse me. Damage only applies to a single unit, and therefore just was a whole bunch of overkill and didn't actually help us at all. Alright then. But we do have the 21 points of carryover on Knickers, which may mean, depending on what they do here, that we have a very significant advantage. We've done a little bit of movement, so Gascon is powered up. Skull remains a very effective tool for us, as does Isbel. Alchemist, if they do more consumption, would be nice. Gabor, probably just for the pure damage, right? Probably fine. Slinger, we saw is not amazing, and it does help power up Gascon, true, but Gascon may just need to stay on 12. What we'd probably like more than anything would be another Alchemist, and that is a card that we had mulliganed out at the very beginning because we didn't think we would need it. But there it is. So I think this is probably as good as it gets for us. Okay. And so here's the thing. Oh, they won. Right, they won round 1. Okay, so we are in a tough position here in that case. We have to keep on playing. I was going to say maybe we can just not play anything in this round and rely on our 21-point body carrying over with Knickers, but that is not something we can do here. No Scepter Storms, as that would destroy the Harpy Egg. This Harpy has already done its thing, though. And technically speaking, we are still in the lead, so we don't need to overreact just yet. And perhaps that is a reason to play what is likely our weakest card here. That being Gascon. I think it's just 12-point body. Not much else. We should probably still row stack in case of additional weather effects. Okay, and they did play one more card than us in round 1, which means, technically speaking, I mean, they can bleed us, so to speak, by forcing us to continue to play, because if we can't pass now, otherwise they keep on playing, they pass us in this round, and if they do overtake us, since they won round 1, they win round 2, they win the match, but they are not doing a good job pacing-wise of doing much to threaten us all that much. Gavor does technically have enough damage to shut this guy down immediately. I think that is probably worth doing, to be honest with you. I think that is probably worth doing. Because otherwise that damage will continue to accumulate. We don't have any trinkets in our deck anyway. So we'll take a little bit of a hit here. But I think that is more than worth the sacrifice. Still not using Scepter Storms because that would target the Harpy Egg. And that doesn't really help us. And that still doesn't really help us. Unless we destroy them now and use our leader ability to get rid of the Harpies that get spawned in by targeting the 4 powered units. Which we could do. That is technically the most effective way. Yeah, that is the most effective way to go about doing this. And we might be forced into playing a card that we would have liked to have saved. It's probably going to be one of these Alchemists. Zizbel, especially in a short round 3, could be a really nice way to just get a huge quick source of boosts. 4 power, she's still going to be a little bit vulnerable. But I think that is probably a risk that we're going to have to be comfortable taking. If we do this, it creates the 4 power Harpies. Then, is there any... no, that just... Well... No, we should just destroy them. Our leader ability, I was going to say, do we maybe use Alchemist, get one of them on a 7, then we actually target the 7 power units with our leader ability? So that way we're hitting more units simultaneously? Yes, but also no, because if we do that, then we're allowing both Harpies to spawn in a Harpy Egg and repeat the cycle, and that's not what we want to do. So I think it is still targeting you guys like that. So no more Harpy Eggs get spawned in, and then it's basically just a throwaway Alchemist. Unfortunate, yes. But we have a large enough lead that that's not a huge factor. We'd like to focus on saving our bigger stuff, which will be Isbel, in particular, for putting up points on our side, and Skull for damaging our opponents for round 3.
There's been a mistake.
Actually, hold on. Mage. Could we use this to boost ourselves? Yes. No, but you can't use it on... the Alchemist can't use it on itself. Okay, if we had thought this ahead a little bit more and anticipated that we would end up using the Alchemist on ourselves here, which... Not sure we could have really foreseen that happening, but could have put someone like Gavor over here and set him up to 21 power so that he was on the same number as Knickers. But, yeah. Yeah. This is... I think we're going to have to play it on one of the Harpies for 0 additional points on the deployability, otherwise we're getting negative points. If we were to play it on our side, I think. Pretty much no matter what. Pretty much no matter what. Because again, it can't target itself. So we can't just make the Alchemist a 21, which would be kind of nice, but does not work in this instance. We are...
What is it?
Really? Okay, I mean, it's not terrible. It's -3. It would have been a lot worse if we were setting Knickers down to 5 power or something like that. See, this is the type of unit that we would like to be targeting with the Alchemist. Set it from 26 down to something much lower than that. So, They have 2 more cards. So we know whatever card we save for last, they will not be able to react to in any way, shape, or form. So I think we want to try to save that last card as Isbell. In which case, I think we go Skull now. And then Alchemist we save for next turn if they do continue to play. We're hoping that they're going to stop here. I mean, I don't know. It's a CPU. It's hard to say. But we're going to banish everything. We're going to maximize the damage. And technically, it's not a great combination with the Alchemist because we were likely to undo this boost anyway with the Alchemist. That's the whole point of using the Alchemist. We could still, now we have set ourselves up to boost this Alchemist based on Knickers, if needed. So that may, in fact, be more value. They do pass. Okay, so now we pass. So we're on even cards going into round 3 here, but we have our huge Isbell point slam, and we still have the 21 points of carryover from Knickers. That's the big stuff. That's the big deal. So we want to bear in mind the Alchemist we could either use to weaken. Oh, right, they don't have a, well, they don't have a highly boosted unit anymore, but they might at some point. In which case, that might be something the Alchemist could do. Alternatively, we might want to put a weak unit to the right of Knickers so that we can transform that weak unit into a 21 or whatever number Knickers ends up on. I think the best way to do that is you go Isbell to the right of Knickers. Isbell, I don't believe, ever boosts herself. Which means if we play her first and play her next to Knickers, we use her order ability on her next turn, all 68 points of boost are going to go to Knickers, and then we use Alchemist to set Isbell to the humongous number that is Knickers, and Isbell becomes huge as well. And if we were to play other units before we did that, then we'd be spreading out Isbell's boosts, and we would not be getting quite as much value out of the Alchemist. So I think that's the plan. And then the Stray Slingers, as we said previously, have been a little bit tricky because there have been units that we don't really want to target. But then again, I'm not sure we can do much better, and Reynard is basically just a point slam. Think we can make this work, as long as Isbell does not get destroyed. That is the key. She's vulnerable at 4 power. They do have some damage. We do have a backup plan. We can put other units in that spot if necessary. Ooh, they don't have anyone to consume. I like that. Okay, so I think this is the plan here. Knickers is an 89, and now we use the Alchemist. Let's see, I hope I put her in the right spot. I hope I put her in the right spot. Equals unit on his left. Yes, we do this.
If anyone asks,
make Isbell an 89.
not seen me.
Lid's actually playing the Alchemist optimally. Crazy talk, I know, right? What is this nonsense? I don't believe it. I don't believe it either. And we also do have someone to target with our leader ability if we would like to do that, and we probably should at this point. We're not really going to get this off cooldown. So we are going to have to damage ourselves with the Slinger, aren't we? Unless we wait, I guess we might as well play Reynard then.
Discipline shall bring us victory.
Right. You technically can still do this, but we need to take more damage before that is actually a possibility. Might as well hit you. And then, because you're not a Death Wish unit, we might as well use Scepter of Storms. Okay. Number of other units in the row. Not a lot. Not a lot of other units in the row, so not a lot of boosts. And not a lot of damage. And fortunately now what we can do is if we were to play the Slinger, we can move you two, and then we can just move the Scepter of Storms, and that way we're not actually damaging ourselves at all. So that's definitely preferable. Technically, Isbell can give us one more boost, so sure. Very dramatic for a 1-point boost on Reynard. Okay, another Wyvern. A little bit more this time around, but now we can actually 100% move enemy units. And we can damage it as well. And that will certainly do the trick. There you have it. That big Knickers plus Isbell set up by the Alchemist combo. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Just the confidence boost I was looking for. Okay. After that questionable puzzle performance, We'll nab the loot. Okay, and nothing out of the ordinary here, but as I said, I suspect this looks a bit... Oh, and that's even the town that we saw before. This looks a bit like a location, particularly in this corner, where I might expect to find something like a hidden treasure chest, because it's just too obscure. It's way in the corner, right? Surely there's something... Yeah, there's something here. I knew it. You can't fool me. Just also checking this corner, but... Show us anything here? Just a point of interest? Alright. I thought it was going to be a hidden treasure chest, hidden gold chest, but the fact that it showed up as a question mark means it might be something entirely different. Let's see. Your Majesty, a she-dwarf hides in this mine. According to Gabor, her name is Stanka Moran, a renegade and thief, sought by every clan. We could dispatch a few guards, but if we let her go, she's promised to show us where to find buried treasure of extraordinary value. What shall we do? Oh, well, I mean... Sure, it lowers our morale. However, it's a treasure map, and we have previously established that whenever we have an option of getting a treasure map, that is the only way of ever finding that loot. If we lose the treasure map or just don't get the treasure map, then we will never find it. Even if we go to the correct location, it's just not possible. And... not to mention, we also have a whole bunch of shrines, so we can basically mitigate the downside of having bad morale. Maybe we can power through it and still complete an encounter with low morale, in which case, awesome. If not, we can at least neutralize it. If not, get back on high morale if absolutely necessary. So for that reason, I mean, unless Groover would also hear of this feels like this is not of the same sort of plot significance, though. This feels like this is more just truly a matter of morale versus treasure chest, and I think we'll take the treasure chest. Okay. So, some kind of village, or at least one building. I feel like we have perhaps a better sense of what this place actually looks like compared to some other treasure maps we've seen in the past. So I'm curious. Kinda looks like that. It's in a corner. There's a ledge down to the south. Might even be over here by the puzzle, to be honest. There is a building there. That might be worth a quick check. Tell you what, let's head over there real quick. Let's verify. Maybe take one more quick look at that map. Okay. Okay. I just want to see if this is actually located right next to the puzzle. And as I said, plenty of shrines we have remaining here. So we have the ability to heal off the low morale, or however you want to phrase it. Is this the place we're looking for, though? Oh, except... No. I don't want to do this again, though. Do we have to finish the puzzle? Alright, we have to finish the puzzle. I think this is probably something that's better for a later occasion. Maybe we try it one more time here. Maybe we give it one more shot and see if I, after finishing the other encounter, have miraculously gotten my act together and figured out what the correct answer here is. But, not sure I believe in myself. Still not sure I believe in myself. So, let's see. Destroy the lowest units. Destroys all these guys, but we can't destroy, or we can't damage the beast on the same turn. So this doesn't feel like this is the right time to use Epidemic. Rivian Sapper. We've established. We damage all these guys, even though removing all of them does remove the beast's immunity, we are still not allowed to hit it on the same turn, for reasons unknown to me. So that seems weird as well. So if it's not you, it's not you. There's nothing we can do with you at the moment. And that means it probably is you, the Onager. And then that means that we are damaging at least one enemy unit. But if we do that, yes, it sets up an Alchemist. But we can only use one Alchemist per turn, and you're going to continue to spawn in more Barghest per turn. What we might do is, what if we play an Onager, And we deliberately don't use it yet. Because... Our ways of getting rid of the Barghest, pretty much all of them remove all the Barghest in one fell swoop, whether it be Epidemic or the Rivian Sapper. So I'm not sure the quantity of Barghest, if that needs to scare us at all. Oh. Hold on. Hold on. The gears are turning. So, now that we have the Onager on the board, if we could remove all the Barghests, then we do have something, once this beast loses its immunity, that we could actually go after with the Onager. So, it's a matter of getting enough charges on this thing to weaken the beast enough, I think. But how do we get enough charges? Because if we use one here, we weaken a Barghest. And then that becomes the lowest unit. So Epidemic would destroy just that unit and that unit alone. But we probably want to destroy some of our own alchemists in order to give the Onager more charges. That's not presently something that we can do. How do we give this thing more charges without destroying it? That might be the key question. Whenever an ally is destroyed, gain 1 charge. Oh, wait, the Rivian Sapper we have established can destroy our own units, right? I think that's the answer. Oh, maybe this one is not nearly as simple and straightforward as I thought it was. Because if we do this, you're down to 1. We need to do that, otherwise we're going to destroy the Onager when we use Epidemic. But... does it still work? Hold on. We're getting somewhere here. We're getting somewhere. Because...
Greetings. What is
yes, this weakens you. Yes. But does that really help us? Because I want to destroy you with the Rivian Sapper. I think that's still fine. I think that may still be fine.
If anyone asks,
Again,
you've not seen me.
actually need to be too concerned about how many Barghests are on the board, because this Rivian Sapper can destroy them all in 1 turn if necessary. Don't need to be too worried about this Epidemic. Okay. Hold on. Hold on. In which case, I think we still get
There's
more
been a
of these
mistake.
guys
I'm no mage.
down here. Okay. And now... might be the turn? Hold on. So, Epidemic destroys the ones. That doesn't really help us here. Other than just avoiding destroying the Onager. Okay, I think we're getting closer, but I'm not convinced that this is precisely the correct order of operations. That much I'm not convinced of, because now we would need to destroy our own units here. So we go...
It's gonna be a right good levy, big and beautiful.
Technically, we should hit these guys first. We might still need to destroy the Onager before we get to use it. That should give you an extra charge. Why aren't you getting additional charges? Okay, alright, game. You can't tell me you're going to give me additional charges when an allied unit gets destroyed and then not give me additional charges when an allied unit gets destroyed. You gotta meet me halfway here. Because that should have given us 2 extra charges on the Onager. Which should have meant we'd have 3 charges. Which should have meant that after destroying all these bar guests and removing the immunity on the beast, in doing so, that we would be able to hit you with this Onager. But as we said before, the all order of operations is probably still wrong because we are required to destroy this Onager with the Rivian Sapper. But this should have 9 damage right now, which is still not enough, but it's closer. Alright. Alright, game. I do take issue with that. The previous ones, I readily admit, I woefully failed on. But that time, you just straight up lied to me. And that's not cool. Still wouldn't have worked exactly in that instance, but we would have gotten our closest effort yet with that attempt right there. So, with that being said, was not really intending to go into this puzzle anyway. Was mostly just seeing if we could sidestep this and see if there's a golden chest there, which I think there is, because this looks a whole lot like that. Yeah, that's gotta be it, right? It does mean we absolutely must complete this puzzle, and so we'll have to put a little more brain power into this, I think. Perhaps on a separate occasion, a different day, when Lids has a clear mind, although I do think we're getting closer. But either way, with that being said, don't let this distract you from the fact that we absolutely demolished the Draconid fork tail that we saw earlier today, okay? Don't let this distract you from that. But anyways, this is a good place for us to wrap up here, so I'll catch you next time.